This next episode of Trivia in Chief is about a 17th president, Andrew Johnson, and when he worked as a tailor. Andrew Johnson was born December 29, 1808 in North Carolina. When he was 3 years old, his father died, and his family struggled to survive. Johnson never attended school, but he did teach himself the basics of how to read. In 1818, his mother apprenticed him to tailor James Selby. Johnson ran away 6 years later and became a fugitive. In 1826, he moved to Greenville, Tennessee, where he opened a tailor shop. The next year, he made Eliza McCladle, who taught Johnson math and writing. Johnson became active in local politics, and when he was 21, he created his own local political party. In 1835, he was elected to the Tennessee state legislature, and he became a member of the Democratic Party. He served as a member of the U.S. House of Representatives from 1843 to 1853. He then served as governor of Tennessee, before being elected to the U.S. Senate in 1856. Johnson remained a Democrat, who had odds with Lincoln and his Republicans in the 1860 election. Unlike many of his fellow Democrats, he opposed secession, and when Tennessee seceded, he actually stayed loyal to the Union. In order to gain the support of Democrats in the 1864 election, the Democrat Johnson was chosen as the Republican Lincoln's running mate. Lincoln won a second term, and Johnson became vice president. Due to a recent typhoid infection, Johnson drank a large amount of whiskey on Inauguration Day to combat the symptoms of his illness. Sadly, this meant that during most of the inaugural day celebrations, Johnson was visibly drunk, which created a minor scandal. 5 weeks after the inauguration, John Wilkes Booth assassinated Abraham Lincoln. 2 of the conspirators attempted to kill Secretary of State William Seward. A third man, named George Atzerodt, was tasked with killing Johnson. Atzerodt went to Johnson's hotel to kill him, but ultimately decided not to follow through with his task. Once Johnson became president, he pardoned all Southerners who took an oath of allegiance. Johnson also played a major role in the early days of Reconstruction. In 1867, Secretary of State William Seward arranged for the purchase of Alaska from Russia for over $7 million. It became known as Johnson's Polar Bear Garden, or Seward's Folly. During his time in office, a faction of Republicans, called the Radical Republicans, became enemies of Johnson. They passed the Tenure of Office Act, which required all cabinet appointments and dismissals to be approved by the Senate. In 1867, Johnson fired Secretary of War Edwin Stanton without consulting the Senate. Stanton had been an ally of the Radical Republicans, and his dismissal outraged them. A resolution of impeachment was created and passed the House. The case moved to the Senate and became the first presidential impeachment trial in U.S. history. In the end, Johnson was acquitted. Following the impeachment, Johnson grew disinterested with the presidency. He became the caretakers of a family of mice that lived in the White House. He left the office of presidency in 1869. In 1875, he was elected to the U.S. Senate. He passed away July 31st of 1875. Andrew Johnson was a major figure of Reconstruction, but also a very divisive one. He remains the only president elected to the Senate after serving as president. The next president was Ulysses S. Grant. Thank you.